Perfect.
I have a random sort of question, Stephen. I know that you've invested in game learning, like learning how to make games, and then you've taken some time off and then back into it and time off. How have you seen the progression of that kind of stop start? If you were to say your skills were at, for example, 50, we'll just give it a number,
Mhm.
and then taking a month or two or three or four off, did you see your skills and knowledge go down to 10, and then it took you a month to
Yeah.
get back to 51? Or it was, no, after a couple of days I got back to 50 and then it gave me a boost, I actually got up to 60 or 70 because of that break? How has that break affected you, so that others can calibrate their own, I've been away for 3 months, should I even bother getting back into it, it's going to take so long,
Yeah, that's a
journey?
good question. I haven't given a lot of thought to it in my own personal experience, but now that you ask it, I feel like I can answer it pretty well. I can't recommend enough that at the beginning, you don't give up. Meaning 2 years ago, if you work on it hard for, let's say, 1 to 2 months, but then you kind of put it by the wayside for 1 to 2 months, which I did, and I don't really necessarily, I guess I kind of even honestly regret it. I come back after 2 months and I'm like, I don't even remember how to get a component. I don't even remember, like, I don't know the difference between like a component or a game object. And then you have to like relearn all of those really, really basic things because you just don't even have like any kind of solid foundation. Now, I feel like, so the first time, let's say we use that number of like, I got up to 50. Well, let's say I got up to 30, and then I took 2 months off and I went all the way back down to like 5. But then you go all the way back up and you get to 40, and then you only go down to 20. But now I actually feel like I'm at the point where I feel like if I was to take like, let's say 1 to 2 months off right now, I could come back. And if let's just arbitrarily say I'm at like an 80 right now, I'd probably only slip to like a 75. I don't think I would forget a ton, but those first few months, probably like if it was me personally, like that 3 to 6 month period, I think if anyone was starting out, that's what I would recommend, to really shovel and push through those first 3 to 4 months to really build as solid of a foundation as possible so you don't have to start over.
Even if it's minimal time investment, because it kind of keeps it in the RAM of your head and you can kind of, keep that learning going. And two, it compounds over time too. Because one of the things I find that beginners find really frustrating is they'll work a month or two on their thing and they'll have like a menu and like, like barely anything on screen, and they're not really proud of it. And it's very discouraging, to get something that's not super cool done after a month. But then fast forward 2 years down the line, you've got something like that you made in a month that looks absolutely amazing. And it just takes the acquisition of skill over a long period of time and a lot of practice and a lot of understanding. And even just refinement of skill, right? Of like understanding scope and understanding all these different things that come into account with all this stuff. You need it. And it's super discouraging and scary in the beginning. And I think a lot of people quit too early.